Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of Locker Room Talk. I'm Ryan.
I'm Tyler.
Robert.
Brian.
I'm Sean.
And today is the episode that I have been waiting for since the start of this podcast, something that I finally know a little bit about. Today we're going to be going over the top 10 outfielders in the MLB. So, as always, we have our 3 honorable mentions, just like we did in our fast food video, which if you want to watch, the link is in the description. So we're going to be starting off with 3 honorable mentions, and then we're going to go 10 to 1 in order. So how about Tyler? You can start.
All right. So my 3 honorable mentions are JD Martinez, who I originally had at 10, but I was told that I can't use him because he's DH. I don't know what that means. Or he's not an outfielder. So that's why he's on my honorable mentions right now. I also have George Springer. I think he's from the Houston Astros. And then Andrew McCutchen, because that's another name I thought of on the top of my head at the time.
Didn't make your top 10?
No.
Oh, my God.
Why, is there a problem with that?
Yes.
No, there's no problem with that.
Yes, there is.
I just thought I shouldn't add a cheater on my top 10 list.
Listen. We'll go
I don't
into,
add cheaters.
We can go into why George Springer should be in your top 10 list when he comes up on someone's list. So,
well, the thing is, I don't want a cheater on my list.
Exactly.
Okay, I guess we're starting it now.
cheaters.
George Springer had the same amount of home runs home and away this year, so it did not matter if he was cheating or not cheating. It is hard to tell.
Yeah, it is if he knows what pitch is coming off. Obviously, he's going to have like 30-something homers.
It's hard to tell how he benefited from it in 2017. Yes, that's true. He probably did benefit from it. However, this year, the year that matters, and as of 2019, George Springer batted 20 points higher on the road than he did at home. He was a better hitter.
That was also when the balls were juiced, though.
The balls are juiced for everyone, Brian.
Yeah, if the balls are just for everyone, it doesn't really matter.
They should allow the players to be juiced.
No,
if you want to get used.
Is irrelevant.
No,
that's topic for another day.
George Springer is a quality outfielder who definitely he may not deserve to be high if you don't want him to, because there are plenty of really good outfielders.
Sean, you want to know what I'm learning from this? I think Cole Howie's an Astros fan.
And he's a Red Sox fan, too. We both like cheaters. There you go.
I freaking knew it.
I knew it.
Honorable mentions. Okay, my turn. My honorable mentions start off with JD Martinez also because he is a DH. He played 20 games in the outfield last year. He is not an outfielder by any stretch of the imagination, but he is still an offensive juggernaut. So he has to be somewhere. Unfortunately, he is just not an outfielder based on my qualifications. Same thing with Giancarlo Stanton. I also have him in my honorable mentions. He is another good hitter, hits home runs left and right. I think he had 30 last year, 35. But he's not qualified to me for an outfielder. Even though he does play more games in the outfield than JD Martinez did, I don't classify him as an outfielder. And finally, in my honorable mentions, I had, much to Bert's displeasure, I had Michael Brantley. Solid player, but I think the list is a little too stacked this year, and unfortunately, I couldn't find a place for him.
So good he's not in the Indians anymore.
True.
Hold up, we were going based off of this year? Last year's stats?
Yes.
Not in 2020. Like 19, 18, 17.
Okay, basically 18,
right,
19.
The past 5 years then.
No.
Yeah,
No,
next 2 or 3.
I have players on my list who
2 years?
only played 1 year.
Yeah, me too.
All right, let's just see how this goes. Someone else.
Sean, go ahead. Who's your honorable mentions?
Okay, so for me, I had Michael Brantley. Thought he hit very well this year or last year. JD Martinez. I had the guy from the Athletics, Ramon Loreno.
Oh, yeah, Loreno.
He was very good.
He had 20 stolen bases, too.
Yeah, and I think he hit like 280, so that's not bad. And he had a cannon.
280.
He has a cannon for an arm. So, he's a very good player. So. Also, I did have a fourth. It's Tommy Pham. He did really well in Tampa. But.
That's just because he loves Tommy Pham. But, Bert, go ahead. You're up.
All right. I also had Tommy Pham. I thought he probably wasn't my first honorable mention. He played for the San Diego Padres. You San Diego. Shout out to them. I also had Giancarlo Stanton. I didn't put him on the list, one, because I don't think he would have made it, but also because he's a DH. so he barely plays any games in the outfield. And finally, JD Martinez, I put because he's a DH. He probably would have made my list above 10, which is where Tyler put him. But since he plays mostly DH, he'll be on another list.
Ramos, how about you?
For my honorable mentions, I put JD Martinez also, mainly because he's a DH, so he doesn't get much time in the outfield. Charlie Blackmon from the Rockies. He's a very consistent hitter, good fielder. And then I went Stanton, and just because also same thing with JD, doesn't get much time in the field. Like to play outfield, so since he's mainly DH, that's why I put him in the honorable mentions.
All right, so Tyler, how about you start us off? Please tell me who your number 10 is.
All right. Well,
Your list
my
actually
number 10.
excites me the most. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah,
to hear
I
your
think I
list.
know the least about baseball out of us 5. So at number 10, I have Michael Brantley, and that's just because Bert told me to put him there because I couldn't add JD Martinez because he's a DH, and that's why I'm at number 10. Thank you, Bert.
No problem. I also had Michael Brantley at number 10. Hit 22 home runs, 90 RBIs, had a 311 batting average. He was an all-star this season. He was a great player and a big reason why the Houston Astros made it to the World Series this year.
My number 10 was George
And because
Springer.
of trash cans.
I went into a lot of reasons why George Springer's already there. He batted .292 this year. Again, higher 20 points on the road than he did at home. His WAR was 6.5, which for people who don't really understand what that is, it means that the Astros would have lost 6.5 games without him if he wasn't playing. And he hit 39 home runs. So incredible power. He's got a fantastic throwing arm out in center field, and he's consistent with a .292 average. Sean, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I think in any other team, Giancarlo Stanton would be playing the outfield. Just that the Yankees have a stacked outfielding with Aaron Judge. You know, they have Gardy, they have Clint Frazier now. They have a stacked outfielding group. But Giancarlo Stanton, you know, in 2019 he was hurt, so that's why he doesn't have that many good stats.
We're not counting as DH.
Yeah, I counted. I'm
counted-
pretty
I
sure
already
almost
have-
all of us counted him as a DH, and that's why
Tyler,
he
do
didn't.
you have
hurt.
Wrong.
Oh my God, he's not even your 10. He's
No.
higher than
And
10 for
in
you.
18 he had
Yeah.
30
I know Tyler's list because he posted it in the Facebook group, so I won't say anything.
So he has a good arm. In 18, he hit 38 home runs. In 17, he hit 59. So he has power. He scores and runs. He gets a lot of RBIs. In 2018, 100 RBIs. 2017, 132 RBIs. His slugging percentage is .47, which is third out of all of active players. So he's pretty good at hitting. If he stays healthy, he can definitely play the outfield. But as of right now, what's wrong with him? Like his shoulder, right? So they don't probably trust
He's
him.
probably healthy right now.
No, he's
Also, his knees. That's why he didn't play the outfield when
He's not the best
he
fielder.
came to the Yankees. Yeah,
he does have an arm, but
he has an arm.
He
but
has a good arm.
His fielding
towards the end of
percentage
his
is
career,
terrible.
he's going to be a DH. Towards the end of his career,
Now he's going to be a DH.
Well, he was also in the National League. He had to play in the field.
Yeah, he didn't really have a
Still-
choice.
I think every year since he got to the Yankees, he's gonna play less of the field. But as of right
Because-
now, he's still a outfielder.
Is
Outfielder.
is JD Martinez on your list, Sean?
No,
They played
How?
the same. I'm pretty sure they played the same amount of games. Plus,
better,
Martinez
Stanton or
is a
Martinez?
way better hitter.
Wrong. He plays for the Red Sox.
He's a better player.
Can't
this is
can't
just
take
my
you
opinion.
anywhere, Tyler. Ramos, let's just move on. Who's your number 10?
My number 10 is Starling Marte. In 2019 with the Pirates, he hit 23 home runs, 295 batting average, and to throw in 25 stolen bases, which was 6th in the league. Just when you can mix power and speed, you have to be considered top 10 in your position. That's why I put him in, because power and speed's a rare combo.
Why don't you go ahead and lead us off with number 9 too?
All right, number 9, I put Bryce Harper. Talent speaking, he would probably be in the top 5, but statistically, having a terrible year. Actually, his last 2 years have been pretty bad, so that's why I put him at 9.
All right, Sean, go ahead with number 9.
Okay, so for number 9, this guy is an up-and-coming outfielder. His name is Juan Soto. He played.
At
This is
9?
I have him at
Juan
9.
Soto.
Oh my God, yeah, those are terrible. I'm sorry.
What do you mean our lists are terrible?
What do you
Maybe
mean
your
you,
list
Bert?
is terrible,
your
Bert.
list,
No.
your list is
What is
terrible.
your list looking
He's a
like?
good
This is
good
looking pretty
replacement
good.
for Bryce Harper since he left. His averages the past year was 282 with 34 home runs.
His
Um,
Soto's average. I think I meant Harper's.
Soto's, yeah. Slugging percentage, 510. Plays tremendous defense. Out of his 275 chances, he made 273 out of the plays. So he's a good fielder. And I just think he's a new and upcoming player. He's going to be very good to watch.
My number 9 was Charlie Blackmon. So I know he is on the declining years, and obviously he is a little injury prone, but he absolutely deserves to be on this list. He bats a consistent 314. He hit 32 home runs last year, and he had 7 triples, which is, I think, the most out of anyone on my list. And his fielding percentage was 989. So he is still fantastic in the field. He can still hit, and he can still hit for power. He's still got enough speed to hit those triples. The only reason he's so low on my list, I would have him higher based on his stats, but unfortunately, he doesn't have as much of the speed anymore. He stole 2 bases this year and got caught stealing 3 times. So when you get caught stealing more than you've actually stolen bases, it doesn't really reflect well on your speed. So I can't put him much higher than 9 on my list.
All right, I'll go next. I put, as Ryan already mentioned before, I had George Springer as number 9. He was a great player this year. A big reason why the Houston Astros made the World Series, even though they did cheat, obviously. He hit 39 home runs, 96 RBIs. He had a 292 batting average. He was 7th in MVP voting this year. And he was also an all-star and Silver Slugger, so definitely top 10 outfield in the league.
Tyler, who's your number
All
9?
right. So at number 9, I have
You need to back away from your
Giancarlo Stanton at
First
number
off,
9.
you need to back away from your mic. Second
So,
off,
yes.
Who, me?
yeah.
Yes, it's pretty loud.
At number 9, I have
That's better.
Giancarlo Stanton. He batted a 266 average back in 2018, having 38 home runs and 100 RBIs. Man's been a beast all his career except for last year because he was injured. And he's also a Bronx Bomber and played for my second favorite team, the Miami Marlins. And that's why he's number 9 on my list.
I had number 8 too. Yeah.
At number 8, I have Juan Soto. Like Sean, he had him at 9, but I have him at 8, 1 slot higher. Had a 282 average with 34 home runs and 110 RBI. So he did pretty good last year.
Right. I had Juan Soto as well for the reasons Tyler mentioned. He hit 110 RBIs, 34 home runs, along with his 282 batting average. He was, I think, 9th in NL MVP voting, and I have no idea how he did not make the All-Star team this year. He's an up-and-coming star, and I think he's going to be a real danger for the Nationals lineup.
Number 8 for me, I had Bryce Harper. So he did kind of have an off year with batting average, and he struck out quite a bit. He was in the top 5 in strikeouts in the entire MLB. However, the 35 home runs do kind of speak. He had 115 RBIs. So even when he's not hitting it out, he can still produce sac flies, singles, stuff like that. He's driving in runs for his team. I think that's really important. As you'll probably see a little bit later on my list too, I really value stolen bases. It's kind of something in baseball that's kind of lost. It's not really as valued as much as it should be. Being able to move from first base into scoring position within 3 pitches is insane. I think it's really important, and it's not utilized enough. So he had 15 stolen bases. He had a solid fielding percentage of 985. So he's still pretty good defensively, and the average will come. He still has all the power. He's actually developed more speed in Philadelphia than he did in Washington. So I think that he may have had an off year, but always going to bounce back. Ramos, go ahead.
For my 8, I have George Springer. He in like 2019 he had new career best in home runs, 39, on base percentage, 383, slugging percentage, 591, weighted on base average, 400, and a 12.1% walk rate, which is a top 10 figure among outfielders. But Tyler kind of got into it. The reason on paper that looks like amazing stats, like a top tier outfielder, but you have to knock him down for cheating and being one of the ringleaders for the cheating scandal. And that's why Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, and George Springer are the luckiest players in the world right now because they're not getting pelted by baseballs right now.
Respectable. Sean Hibby, how about you?
For what? 7, 8?
8.
What, 8. I did Charlie Blackmon. I just like the way he plays. He hits for average pretty well. He batted 314 this past year. He hit 32 home runs, even though he's 32, so he's getting up there in age. And I just feel like he's a well-rounded player, and he has a good fielding percentage. And I don't know, he made the All-Star team this year, so he can still play. He's a very good player, in my opinion.
Go ahead with number 7 too.
Okay, for 7, I had Aaron Judge. So
I think it's a little low, but not by too much.
well, I mean, he's not staying healthy. He has to stay healthy.
Aaron Judge, what
He's-
number? 7?
7. He's
I don't know
he's
about
a good,
that, Sean.
He does have. Well, okay. Here's my thing.
We're Yankees fans.
We are Yankee fans, but he's been getting hurt a lot. Injuries are going to happen with him. He won the Rookie of the Year, Silver Slugger.
It wasn't
award.
really
Won
his
MVP.
fault when he got injured last year. He had a broken wrist because he was hit with a 101-mile-an-hour fastball. Like, it's not because he tore a groin running to first base. Like, Sean, if I threw 101 at your arm, you're going to break some bones too. Like, it's
I'm just
not
saying he gets hurt a lot, and he
'Cause
strikes
he's
out.
6'7".
He strikes out. Hold on.
He's
he strikes out over
massive.
200. He strikes out over 200
He's
times
a
a
6'7"
year.
behemoth.
Actually, a lot of that stat is because he strikes out looking because his strike zone is so big and umpires can't see that low. He strikes out looking about 47% of the
See
time.
shit.
Because a lot of it at
But
his
I
knees.
do
Imagine
like-
being
I-
6'7", looking down at your knees is like
I would play a different
almost
sport
6
if I was
feet lower than
6'7". I'm just saying. I would
He
play.
was a
different
football
sport.
Imagine
star.
calling yourself
He should've
Shawnee
played basketball.
Baseball.
Anyways,
Shooting on
when I'm
Joe.
not interrupted by these fools, he does walk a
pencil in
lot,
your
which
hand.
I do like. He hits. He gets a lot of hits. He gets on base a lot. I don't know. I just feel like he could do a little bit more, and I'm hopeful that he's going to continue to play right field for the Yankees, and I know he's going to be a free agent soon, and I hope he stays with them.
No, he's not.
But
The Yankees will never let him get to free agency. Zero
He's
chance.
Never.
Zero
Never gonna happen.
chance.
Throwing money at him.
he
Him
could.
and Torres are the face of the franchise. There's literally no way they let either of them get to free agency.
I'm just saying, but he hits like 270. He hits like 20 the past couple years, 20 home runs, up high 20s. He's a very good player, and I just have him at 7. So, which is that.
So my number 7 was Ronald Acuna Jr. Ramos actually touched earlier on the rare combination you get of power and speed. Acuna batted 280, and he hit 41 home runs. And along with those 41 home runs, he stole 37 bases, which is not only leading the Braves, but leading a good portion of the National League. Along with that, he had 101 RBIs. So even though I think this is his second year, he's still performing at an all-star level, and he's in for a really good career. We're watching a star in front of our eyes right now.
All right, with my number 7, I had Bryce Harper. Hit 35 home runs last year and 114 RBIs, and it was a down season, but I think that's kind of overhyped. He's never really been a guy who really hits well for average. He normally hits in the 270s. He's only ever broken 300 twice in his career. So I think that's kind of overrated, and people try to bring him down because he can be a little obnoxious, and like he has a lot of talent, and like for all the talent he has, honestly, 7 is a little low. But I put my number 7 because, like, at this point, honestly, I would rather take him over all the other guys I just mentioned, even like Juan Soto, who I love. I think he's a rising star. I still would take Bryce Harper over him at this point.
At number 7, I have Ronald Acuna. He had a 280 average, 41 dingers, 101 RBIs. He was pretty good last year. That's why I have him at 7. 6, I have Harper, who hit a 260
Wait.
average.
Did you skip Ramos? I think.
Yeah, let Ramos go.
Oh, sorry.
You're
There
good.
you
Number 7, I had Juan Soto. As a 20-year-old last year, he is one of just 4 players joining Mel Ott, Ted Williams, and A-Rod to have 30 home runs, driving 100 runs, and post an on-base percentage of at least 400. And the fact that he's already up and coming was a huge part of giving the Nationals their first World Series as a franchise. He's only going to get better with age, and he's just starting his career, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with someday if he isn't already. Am I up for 6 now too?
Yes.
My 6, I had Ronald Acuna Jr. Back to what I said when Ryan quoted me, rare combo of power and speed. 22 years old, man's already a beast, he's only going to get better. And he was, I believe, he was in the NL MVP race, even
He's
though he
5th,
didn't
yeah.
win. But yeah, so that's why I put him at 6.
I also had Acuna Jr. at 6th.
Or sorry, yeah, 6. My bad.
Yeah, he was 5th in MVP voting this year for NL. He was an All-Star, Silver Slugger. He led the league in stolen bases and runs. It's only been his 2nd year. He was Rookie of the Year his 1st year, and he's already a superstar in his 2nd season in the MLB. It's insane.
Well, I already said it. I had Bryce Harper at 6, and that's only because I feel like he's a better fielder than Acuna right now. And yeah,
My number 6 was Cody Bellinger. So he had 47 home runs and he hit for 305. And I know it's going to sound a little low, but
wow.
a lot of his home runs and a lot of his hits came in the first half. He really, really cooled off, and he showed he can't consistent. He's really shaky. And before the All-Star game, he had 35 home runs. After the All-Star game, he had 11. So in the first
And
half
one
of the
MVP.
season, what happened?
The home run derby,
And
bro.
one MVP.
He did.
He
He
won
did win
MVP.
MVP because of the stats. Because the stats show 47 home runs and
Baseball,
305. What?
I thought you knew baseball.
I did, and I have
Yeah,
him
keyword
low.
he knew, but
Like,
he
I feel
he
like I know
knew
more
Sean,
baseball
you had
than you right
Giancarlo
now.
Stanton on an outfielders list.
He knew
He
baseball.
knew baseball.
He
He doesn't
Sean,
know it
he
anymore.
forgot it.
And you had Aaron Judge at 7.
First off, I didn't know
He still
we
has
couldn't
him
use
I don't want to hear it from
Giancarlo.
you.
He
I don't
still
know.
has.
Honestly,
didn't know we couldn't
Bellinger's
use
better than
Giancarlo.
Judge. Just saying.
What?
Yeah, that's true.
I
Bellinger is better than Judge.
in this
Bellinger
year,
is
you
better
can
than
say
Judge.
based on the stat wise that it is correct.
Or the past 2 years.
Yeah, because Judge has been injured both years. But yes,
See, I know more
that's correct.
baseball. I am baseball.
Not true. Not true.
New baseball.
I am baseball.
Cody Bellinger got caught stealing 5 times on 6 attempts. Which again, it's not a lot. Why? Shut up. Listen, let me finish what I'm saying.
Hashtag how he doesn't
He
know
played.
baseball.
Let
Write
me
that in the
fuck. Let me
chat
fucking finish.
down below.
He
Kyle
played
is
a
an MLB
fantastic.
addict.
He played a
I am.
fantastic first
I'm in the
half.
group chat.
All-star, perhaps even MVP caliber, which he won the MVP because of his first half. But in the second half, he really cooled off. His average actually dipped 20 points, and he hit 22 less home runs than he did in the first half. He is shown that he can perform well, but he needs to show more consistency if he wants to be higher on the list.
What's
You're
more
just a Cody
consistency than an
Bellinger
MVP?
Because his first half carried him to that. He batted 305 that entire year, but his batting average dropped 20 points in the second half, and he
You're
hit
just-
You're
22
just a
less
Cody
home runs.
Bellinger hater.
Salty. Just salty.
Well,
I'll
I do
take
hit.
his season over
I
Judge's
do-
any day.
You'll do what?
I'll take Bellinger's season with an MVP over any outfielder besides Soto since he won a
Any
World Series.
outfielder.
Since he won a World Series.
Ramos, I wouldn't say every
That's a
outfielder.
little far. I can understand you saying you'd want him
Not
over
every.
Judge,
Pretty good.
but over any outfielder
All right, except Trout. And
and about 5 other people on my list. But that's okay. So
Not 5.
he's a 6. He's a solid number 6.
I really want to know who's above Bellinger on your list.
yeah,
Well,
this is interesting.
You're gonna know in very soon. So who wants to go for 6?
Me. I had Bryce Harper. at 6. I mean, I know it's not a good reason,
It's
but
okay. Cole Javi has a shittier player at that. No, a better player at that position.
False.
Okay, so I just don't like his contract, but that doesn't have to against
That has
his
nothing to do with
performance.
That's the only
Because that
reason.
is
like,
totally that's he has a say in his contract.
he does.
Well,
actually,
he
has
does.
a massive
Anyways,
say in his
but-
contract.
He does. I mean, with those,
Won't be able
he
to build
batted
a team.
249 when he got the year when he was about to get the contract.
His free
249.
agent year.
Yeah, his free agent year, and he hit 34 home runs, which is very good. But I'm just saying, how much he's making is like 35 million. I don't know about that. He's making tons of money, but he is a good player. He is top 10 outfielder in the game. He hits a lot of home runs. He feels pretty well. He gets on base. He walks. He does pretty much anything you want, really. He's an all-star. He's an MVP. He's a good player, and he's good with the fans as well, which is important as a player.
So it's time to come clean with you guys. I know after however many episodes we've recorded, if you see a jump cut after like 20 minutes and suddenly people are in different spots, it's because Zoom only lets us do 40 minutes, and we're definitely not paying for it because we're cheap and we're broke. So that's the story about that, and we're just going to move on. So number 5. Who wants to start us off?
I'll start first. So
Great.
at 5, I have Mookie Betts. He had a
Cookie.
what?
Sorry,
At
I like
5?
I like his name.
Yeah,
by the
I
way.
have Mookie Betts at 5. You got a problem with that?
Yeah, he's at 5.
All right. Yeah. So he had a 295 RBI percentage. He had a 29 home runs and 80 RBIs. So the only reason I have him at 5 is because I really think there's 4 players that are actually better than him in the league. So, but you'll see who it is.
Aaron
once I say
Judge,
their
Christian
names.
Yelich, Mike Trout, and Cody Bellinger.
Well, I think Mike Trout is number
The
one.
only 4 people he hasn't announced yet. So
I feel like
You don't know
Mookie's
that?
better than Judge at least.
You think
Definitely.
Mike Trout is better than Judge? Or
Mike
no?
Trout's better than everyone.
Okay.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
Mike Trout's the number 1.
Fuck.
but-
Shit.
Chemical Howard.
All right. So my number 5 is Juan Soto. So I know you guys had him way lower, but I really need to take into account that this is his first full season. In 2018, he did not play until early June. So the fact that he started halfway through the season and performed really well, and now this year last year he had his first full season, was able to put up 34 home runs, 110 RBIs, 4.5 WAR, and a 282 batting average. Was able to lead his team, not really lead his rookie, but bring his team into a World Series victory. I think that's incredible. So he has to be much higher than where everyone is.
Hey, Ramos, you want to go?
Oh, I didn't know it was up. My bad.
Wait a
Okay,
minute.
so wait,
did you have Soto
insert the clip
over
of
Judge?
Ramos. What?
Did you have Soto over Judge?
No.
Okay.
Of the clip of Ramos saying availability is the best ability when he says Aaron Judge. Just make sure to
You're not
put that in
gonna
there. All right.
So my 5, I got Mookie Betts.
You're nuts.
I agree with that.
His stats, like Tyler said, but then one thing that I noticed that
Every video you
Every
rape us.
single video.
his stats declined after his MVP year. After his MVP 2 years ago, but also you have to knock him down for the trade rumors, being unhappy with the Red Sox organization.
Why do you have to knock him down for being unhappy where he plays?
Because you're in the Red Sox, where I hate to admit it, one of the best teams in baseball, the 2010s decade,
And best parks.
and the
Yeah.
fact that
I
you're
think it
is the best one.
Debatable.
like
Fenway's
most
okay.
players would want to play for the Red Sox. The fact that he didn't because he got greedy with money issues, that's a character issue for me where I got a big problem with that. Because the 4 people I have on my list ahead of Betts have no character issues and quite the opposite. One of the best baseball players and people in the MLB. But also more importantly, the stuff that Tyler said, so I won't touch on it too much. But
Throw back to a couple years ago when Odell was on the Giants, but Ramos still ranked the number 1 even for having character issues.
I've never put him 1.
Yes,
All right,
He said he was He's
In
he
You
said
science
he
can go
was
class,
back
better
said
to
than.
many things
in,
about the
in science
Dolphins
class.
that you
No,
said.
he did say Odell was
None
number
of them
one
have
receiver.
character issues.
I mean, Antonio Brown did.
Sure.
I mean, we didn't know about those.
We didn't know
character
that
Yeah,
though.
we
We
didn't
knew
really-
Odell had.
Loved when
After he got
Odell
hit
had
by
himself with the
Quantez
kicking
Burfict,
net.
then
Dude, that was the end for
everything just
him.
went downhill.
Sean, go ahead.
We're doing 5 now, right?
Yeah, 5.
All right. This might be a little surprise, but I had Ronald Acuna Jr. Right. So this past year, he was an All-Star. Right. He placed 5th in MVP voting. He stole 37 stolen bases. That's a lot. I mean,
That's
I
pretty
think
good.
that's pretty good. He has some speed to him. He had 41 home runs and he batted 280. So I think
Yep.
he's just gonna keep getting better as the seasons get along. And how, I mean, right now he's not making. He's in a friendly contract for the Braves, and I just think he has so much potential to be a breakout star.
I was wondering why he had an 89 speed in MLB this show.
He's a very
The
fast
fact
guy.
that he had 37 stolen
can steal
bases,
bases. I
it's
mean-
good to know.
Led the league.
He did.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure.
Why doesn't he have 95 speed then? At
Because he doesn't have the fastest 30 time.
Yeah, Billy.
Trey
Hamilton,
Turner
Sean.
does.
least. Okay.
Trey Turner. Oh, yeah, Trey Turner. That's good.
I love Trey
Trey
Turner.
Turner is fast.
I love Trey
97
Turner.
speed.
He's adding some
99.
power to his game now too.
I always make him my first batter in MLB this show.
Why did you make him anything else? I mean, just bunt and get
Move
it.
on,
Get on base.
Bert. Who did you have at
All
number
right.
Yeah,
5?
you can just bunt.
All right, number 5, I had Aaron Judge. The stats don't necessarily back it up this year, but he's a top 5 talent in this league, definitely for outfielders. Standing at
Hey.
6'7", every time he hits the ball, it's just going out of the park. It's insane. The other teams fear him like shit. One of the scariest players in the league, so he got up from number 5.
Number 4, go ahead.
All
Me,
right,
number 4 as
Yeah,
well.
just
all right,
repeat number 4.
can go.
Tyler, you can go if you want. Just go.
All right, number 4, obviously Aaron Judge. He's a top 4 talent in the league. Had a 272 average, 27 home runs. Little low, but he did miss a couple of games. He also had 55 RBIs. Plus, what Bert said, he's 6'7", so I'd be scared shitless if I ever had to face him if I was a pitcher. And also, he has a very strong arm, which is what an outfielder needs to play the
All right.
position.
Bert, go ahead.
Okay. Number 4, I had Mookie Betts. He had a little bit of a down year. He hit 292 and led the league in runs scored. And in his down season, he still came 8th place in MVP voting, which was better than George Springer, who had one of his best seasons. And the year before that,
Oh.
AL MVP. He's now going to the Dodgers. They're going to be a great team. They're my pick to win the World Series this year, and he's a superstar talent.
Hold up. You know the Yankees are still
Yeah.
right?
I know the season might not be going on.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
might
no,
actually
we
have a
are.
season.
You know,
My
the
number
Yankees
4
are
pick.
still in the league, right?
My
What?
number 4 pick is
They're winning.
also Aaron Judge.
It
So
hasn't started yet.
even if he had, even with his injury, he is still a top 4 talent. He may be injury prone, but if you look at the top 10 hardest hit balls in the MLB from the past 3 years, Judge has 9 of them. So the fact that he can absolutely clobber the ball is nuts. He had just about 30 home runs in his year where he played less than just about half the season. He may have injury problems, but the fact that his WAR, which is another stat that we're going to go over, is still 5.5, which is higher than some of the other players on this list, and he didn't even play a full season, is absolutely nuts. So his relevance to his team is incredible. He may have only batted 278, but he had an on-base percentage of over 390. So he can draw insane amounts of walks. He absolutely clobbers the ball whenever he's up. He's massive. And going on to the strikeouts thing, if you look at some of the strikes that they've called on strike 3, they're below his knees, which are legally not in the strike zone. So he does suffer a lot of that because he's insanely tall. So he does suffer a little bit, but it gives him some advantage. So he's a number 4 for me. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
I'll go. Okay. So now that I think about it, I could have changed a little bit of my my list. I would have switched Aaron Judge with this guy.
At 7.
All right, with this guy, but Cody Bellinger, I have him at 4 because
Switch him.
what?
I don't
switch him.
know if you should have switched him, but
All right, anyways, he's ranked now. That Howie brought up a good point about WAR. Bellinger this past season led the league or National League with 9 points for WAR, and that's pretty good. That means 9 runs without him. Even though he did digress as the second half game. He did win MVP, so that's plus. And he still hit 47 home runs, and you batted over 300. And I don't think you can really ask for that much. I mean, more for a player like that. I mean, if you hit 40 plus home runs and bat 300, I mean, that's amazing. He's getting better as he'll get better as the years go on, but he's going to turn out to be a solid player.
Ramos finishes out.
So at 4, I put Aaron Judge. The man's just a natural talent where even if you're not a Yankee fan, you love watching.
We've heard about natural talents before. Flashback to the the Simmons.
And he's still willing to put his body on the line, diving for loose balls, has one of the best arms in the league. The man he's a dual threat, honestly, in the field. And he's just as dangerous in the field as at the plate. And Clyde brought up a good point about the strikeout thing. And I feel like big guys like Stanton and Judge are always getting hosed on the illegal strike zone that they face just because of their height. And also another point that Howie brought up was I forgot what I was gonna say. The fact that you can't blame him for some of his injuries because 101 mile per hour to the elbow that took him out for a few. I think we can all agree, or at least maybe Tyler and I, because we're not as huge baseball fans. But if you take a 101 mile per hour fastball to the elbow, I probably wouldn't want to play baseball ever again, or at least most pitchers in the MLB.
When you're making millions of dollars, you probably will.
So yeah, that's why I put Judge at my 4.
It's a respectable pick. Tyler, give us your number 3.
Okay, well, before I move on to the top 3 picks, we move on. I think Jim would be pretty pissed if I didn't say this, but fuck the Astros for what they did. Now let's go back to the top 3. At number 3, I got Cody Bellinger, who's MVP last year, had a 3.05 average, 47 dingers, 115 RBIs. I mean, this man was a beast last year, and he's going to continue with this streak going on.
I had Cody Bellinger at number 3 as well. He won literally every award possible. He was an all-star, Silver Slugger. He won a Golden Glove, which Clyde failed to mention. And on top of all, he was NL MVP.
My number 3 was Mookie Betts. Even on his off year, hitting 295, 30 home runs, 16 stolen bases. He was an all-star. He won a Silver Slugger. And going back to this WAR, which I know is like really hard to determine, is 7. So for the Red Sox, which were an average team last year, being able to win 7 extra games for your team is absolutely incredible. You mean a lot to your team. 16 stolen bases, as I said, being able to have some sort of speed. So stealing a base is a lost art. You don't see it as much in the MLB as he used to, but it still should be just as valuable as a single or a double, because a stolen base, you put a man who was on first, now you're in scoring position, a single will drive you in. So I really value stolen bases, and I really like how Mookie Betts plays. Despite him being a Red Sox, well, not anymore. So he's the Dodgers. I can't actually root for him until he plays the Yankees in the World Series and ultimately loses to him, because the Dodgers choke every time. I'm sorry, Bert. Go ahead, Sean.
Things change.
For number 3, I also had Mookie Betts. In 2018, that was his MVP season. He was Golden Glove. He batted .346. He was an All-Star, Golden Glove, and Silver Slugger Award in the past. Oh, he won that 3 times, the Golden Glove and Silver Slugger. So, I mean, he's 4 times for the Golden Glove. But he's just a very good player. I'm glad he's on the Dodgers now, not on the Red Sox, because I just can't stand the Red Sox. But, he doesn't strike out that much. I mean, in 706 plate appearances, he only struck out 101 times. That's not that bad. He's, puts the ball in play. He plays a good right field, and ultimately, he's going to help your team win. So, just hopefully not the Dodgers.
Ramos, how about you? What is so funny? I'm confused. What's so funny?
I put Cody Bellinger. along with Tyler and Bert, pretty much everything they said. Gold Glove MVP, 40-something home runs. Not really much else to add.
So number 2, I think this was actually pretty universal. Did everyone say Christian Yelich?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it really speaks for
Team.
himself. 329 batting average. He was an MVP finalist. He won the Silver Slugger. 44 home runs. Insane on base percentage, over 400. His WAR was 7.1. Absolute beast, and he's a big reason that the Brewers made the playoffs. And they should have probably gone way deeper. It was an error that cost them the game, but I think that Christian Yelich is an absolute monster, and if he plays, he'll keep being number 2 for the rest of Mike Trout's career, who is a very obvious number 1. The only player making $435 million over 11 years. He's never going to be let out of Los Angeles, which is unfortunate because I would really like him to be in the Yankees uniform. But absolute monster. He's a finalist for the AL MVP just about every year. His average season is about 330 batting average. He hits over 30 home runs just about every year. His stolen bases may have declined, but he's still stealing bases. I think last year it was 15. So I think he's just an absolute monster, and I think he's a consensus number 1 pick. It's so obvious that he is the best player in baseball, let alone an outfielder.
It's going to be winning all time grades.
And I'm just going to add to Christian Yelich. I don't know why Miami would trade him. I don't know. For Mike Trout, I feel bad for him that he's never going to win a title.
He's good to the Yankees.
Just saying, but that's it.
To build off of that, actually, Mike Trout told the Angels organization that he's tired of losing, and that's why in free agency they were one of the finalists to get Garrett Cole, because he told them he wants players on his team that can get them to win. He's tired of losing. So I'm just hoping the Angels suck for a few more years, because maybe he's going to demand a trade and maybe he's going to end up in New York. But
how long was the contract he signed?
11.
11 or 12 years.
11 years?
But he's making 435 mil.
He's making a shit ton of money.
Well, the Angels
Well, at
got
least go to a
Rendon,
good team if
so
they're
So
gonna sign him.
every minute
Their
of
contract.
quarantine, every minute, I think, he's making a couple $100 every minute. So right now he's probably awake because he's on the West Coast. But while he's sleeping, that's 8 hours. Figure he's making thousands and thousands of dollars
For just
So-
sleeping.
just for sleeping.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
That's
nuts.
But he's not going to get the full contract, though, right?
He's worth
Like the full-
every. What happened, Sean?
for the whole year. He's not going to get like that amount of money because they're going to.
No, I don't think players. So actually, Corona update. The MLB announced their contingency plan today. Apparently, they are hosting 3 possible sites, one in Florida, one in Arizona, and one in Texas. They're each going to be holding 2 divisions each, one AL and one NL, and they will be playing 3 games per day in each respective stadium, but it's going to be more than one stadium. They will be playing at neutral sites. They will be they'll be starting up in May. They said they were going to do training camps for a month, and they're going to start up in June. And they're going to have anywhere from 82 to 100 game season. So Mike Trout will still probably play at least 82 games this year.
Question.
Go for it.
This is going to be televised, right?
Yes, because fans are not
100%.
allowed.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
Of
just
course not.
saying.
We're playing this on ESPN.
At an Angels
so.
game, though, there's not really going to be
Dun-dun-dun,
any fans anyway, so their revenue doesn't really hurt from ticket sales.
I need baseball back in my life. I watch so much baseball.
Shut up.
Although your list was actually surprisingly better than some of the people's here. Just gotta say.
Thank you.
Wait. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, Bert. I want you to tell me why
Listen,
his
Bert,
list is better than mine.
I've been told that I am baseball and that I know a lot.
No
because
one
of
has
MLB The
ever
Show.
said that.
The reason I had Trout as the number 1 was because he had the highest overall in the show. So obviously I had to put him number 1.
Kyle, you
Same
also
with
are
Christian
a
Yelich.
veteran baseball player.
What's that?
You also are a veteran baseball player with many
I am.
years.
I played for a couple
We all
of years.
played the same amount, Brian.
Yeah,
What?
we all did play the same amount.
Yeah, but Tyler was an
Actually,
MVP.
technically, Sean played the most. He played in high school, technically.
He played
No,
club,
but-
yeah.
Yeah,
And he's playing club in
Remember that
college
time-
too. Well,
Remember when
not
Bert
real, not
batted before
anymore. Ha.
Kohawi, though?
not anymore.
What'd
I
you
do
say?
remember that, Tyler.
When Bert batted before you?
Oh, I muted himself.
I muted him. There'll be none of that slander. You're allowed to talk again.
Hey,
So
Bert
that
was always
is
better. The better
all the
baseball
time we
player.
have for
Appreciate
today's video. That is our list. Tell us in the comments who had the strongest list. Tell us in the comments who had the worst Tyler's list. And I would really like, if you guys like more content like this, make sure to leave a like, comment down below. We do read every single one of them because there's only about average of one per video. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe for more of this stuff, and we'll see you next time.
And if you're an Astros fan, unsubscribe. We don't want to see you.
Yourself.
Yeah, we don't even want you near.
We don't
our
even want
page.
you
Yeah, just get
opening up
away.
our videos.
Except for Bert. He's an Indians fan, so he doesn't really have an opinion on that. But see you next time.
See ya.
Adios.